that will never stop. So we will rise for truth and justice. The voice of God and not the voice.
Hello and welcome to the program House of Justice on HOG Radio TV, coming out live to you from Kaduna, Nigeria. It is almost 2 weeks that young Nigerians have hit the streets to protest and seek an end to Sars, which in a loose sense is a call to do away with a unit in the Nigerian police force, which is a special anti-robbery squad. This unit is being accused of brutalizing Nigerians and the violations of rights. Nigerian president has directed that the unit be scrapped, and the Inspector General has announced its replacement with SWAT, the Special Weapons and Tactics. Nigerians are still on the streets and have refused to go home. And so we will be examining the issue around the protests and taking on the topic End SARS and Accountability in Nigeria. Joining me on the program today to discuss the topic are DIG Godwin Nwobodo, retired. DIG Godwin Nwobodo retired last year. He is a Deputy Inspector General who retired at the Nigerian Police Force. And it's good to have him in House of Justice. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. And thanks for having me. Good afternoon.
Thank you. Such a pleasure. And we will also be joined by the socio-political activist and the co-convener of Bring Back Our Girls, Aisha Yusufu. Aisha, thank you for joining me in House of Justice.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
It's such a pleasure to have you, and thank you for the awesome work that you're doing.
Thank you.
2 weeks, almost it is, and Nigerians are still on the streets and advocating for an end to SARS. Can you tell us what these issues are about, Aisha?
Well, first of all, what I would like to say is, and I hope we all Nigerians understand it, is that this protest is unlike any other protest that we've seen before or we've had before. This is not a protest of empathy, the way we normally do. This is a protest of survival. The young people of Nigeria are coming out to say that, look, they are being wasted, they are being killed, they are being harassed, they are being maimed, they are being robbed. And right now, they're fighting for their lives. They're demanding that they be given a chance to live. And even though, and you can see what is happening, some have been killed, some have been injured, but they are coming out every day the more. And so we need to understand this and know that it's not the usual way, and it's not the tactics of before that will actually get things done, where instead of listening to the protesters and putting things in place, is to just come after them with force and expect that things will go away. It wouldn't go away, because even while you're killing them now, it's just an extension of what they are demanding to be stopped. They are being killed anyway. And so that's a huge difference I think all of us need to understand.
We'll talk about the mobilization in a bit, but back to the DIG Nwobodo. The Nigerian president has ordered the IGP to scrap SARS, and the IGP has responded positively and has replaced that with SWAT. Do you think that that is enough for the protesters to go home?
I think that should be enough for them to go home, because talking seriously, it is not the wood that makes the monk. Just the public shouting and talking about ending SARS and all that. If you have ended SARS now, one of the policemen who peopled SARS, they were drawn from the police and they have returned to the police. So it is not about whether SARS is scrapped or not, or whether it is renamed or not. The question is, they have shown their grievance and the president has responded. There are further things to be done. I think that should assuage them enough to go back. and wait for other events to unfold.
How does the directive solve the problem of impunity in the Nigerian police force, DIG?
Well, there are always bad eggs. The problem of impunity, the problem that's the bad name that is given to us by a few individuals or some individuals in the system can be curbed right from the period of recruitment. We must learn how to actually manage our police force. It is from the point of recruitment recruitment and selection, that you pick people from the civil populace to become police officers. And so there are climes in which people do what we call background check. They do psychological testing. They look at all these things before somebody is invariably recruited into the police force. And after being recruited into the police force, the type of training, the requisite training that is required to make them good police officers has to be entrenched. It is at the point that we recruit. Sometimes in our country, we don't look at the efficiency of people. We don't look at qualification of people. We want everything to go around. Well, it is good that everything should go around. Every state should be represented in the police force and all that. But I think we should select the best from each state. We should select the best from each state so that these people that we select will be people that are trainable. And of course, the training and the orientation they are given will bring them out to be good police officers. Nigerian police has not always been like this. I want to say that the police force I met was not like this when I joined. I trained between January and December 1985 after my youth service in those states. Certainly, the police officers I met, even the rank and file and senior officers, are not the type that we have these days. We have missed it somewhere. And we need to find out. And in my view, I think it's from the point of one, recruitment, training, and of course, the reward system. Recruitment, training, reward system. And of course, it is training that builds discipline in people. If people are not properly trained, you don't expect them to be disciplined. And there is no way any society can function, or any organization, any society can function without discipline. I think the issue of discipline is just too low now in the force.
All right, back to you, Aisha. This protest, is it a metaphor to other issues? The DIG has said that since Sars has been scrapped, that should be enough for the protesters to go home. What are the pending demands, and have they been properly articulated?
Okay. So I just want to let me start from that point where the demands of the protesters have been met. They haven't been met. What has been done is that there has been an announcement, but it really hasn't been what is on ground. And what the protesters are saying is that they need to see action, not just words, not just mere rhetoric. They need to see action before they begin to think of moving away. And let's not forget the fact that there's issue of trust deficit. This is not the first time that Sars has been scrapped, right? Starting from December 2017, when I think it was the then acting president, Professor Yemi Osibanjo, had scrapped it. The name was changed from Sars to FSARS. And I think they've been disbanded for like about 5 or 6 times. And we're here 2020, we're still talking about the same thing again. And beyond that is the fact that the brutality keeps going on. Now you've said you ended SARS, but people are being killed. Even on the day that the president was talking about the fact that SARS had been ended and it's just the beginning in the whole issue of reform of the police force, There were killings. There were killings of protesters in Lagos. Military was brought in to the National Assembly to attack the protesters. Yesterday, hoodlums under the supervision of the police were attacked protesters. And hoodlums attacking protesters under the supervision of police is not a new thing to me personally, because in 2014, during the Bring Back Our Girls protest, we went through the same thing where under the supervision of the police, hoodlums were brought in government cars, buses to attack us. So over the years, there has been this deficit of trust, like I said earlier on. But the thing is that, let me ask, has there been any execution plan that has been brought out? Has the government come out to say, yes, this is what we have, this is what we are going to do it, this is the timeline with which we would do it, so that we know that indeed they are being sincere, because there's no sincerity of purpose here. One of the demands is that all protesters have to be released. All protesters haven't been released. They are still there. We still have many, and they're even still arresting more. So how do you expect them, especially the youth that over the time they have trusted us, and we have failed in upholding that trust, for them to trust the issue of what we are talking about? But I read what the DIG said, you know, when he talked about a few bad eggs. I think this is not really a case of a few bad eggs. It's a case of a few good ones. And yes, in as much as it hurts, we need to accept it, because from the moment of where we get things right, we need to accept the problem the way they are. And I look at where he talked about the issue of recruitment, training, and reward system, which is so true. In terms of recruitment, you find out that people bribe their way to get in there. People have to pay. The worst amongst us are the ones that are taken. And in any country, the police are supposed to be the best of the best. In the military, they don't care. They can take in anyhow. Sometimes even in some countries, when somebody like a juvenile cases, they will even give them option, join the military or you go to jail or something like that, because they know they don't operate within the borders of the country. They protect the territorial integrity of the country, so it's outside. But it is the finest of the fine that you have in police, because they deal with people directly. In case of our recruitment, is not there. The training, it is awful. The way our policemen and women are being trained, they are trained like subhuman beings. The places where they live like animals. Sometimes you see the barrack, you weep. I remember in 2015, I was in Borno, and I saw the police barrack in Maiduguri. I screamed. I did a video and I put it on my Twitter to say, look, if we don't take care of them, we're having a major problem here. And then on the issue of the reward system, I mean, what do we have? Bad behavior being rewarded and good behavior being punished. The few police men and women who stay on, who do the right thing, at the end of the day, they retire. They don't have anything more. The country hasn't given them enabling environment where even their children will have good quality education. They don't have, they didn't loot money or taking bribe to build huge houses. And you find out that they are failed. So at the end of the day, it is those who end up being unethical things that are corrupt are the ones who leave land. So it's almost as if you are being punished for actually doing the right thing and being an upstanding policeman or woman. And in these demands that are made, one of the demands, the fifth demand, is that the welfare of the police have to be looked into. So when we are talking about all these demands, really, yes, the government has come out to say they're going to do many things, but they haven't. Right now, if I may ask you, has any policeman been arrested because they asked for justice and compensation for the families of those that have been killed? None of them have, no policeman have been arrested over the protesters that have been killed right now. It's almost 7 days, and yet we're past 7 days now, yet there's no arrest. Why is the police protecting its men, the so-called bad eggs? What incentive do the police, Nigerian police force, have to protect these few bad eggs, instead of bringing them out for them to be prosecuted and for justice to be given to the people? And then, of course, the third thing we have to set up an independent body to oversee that investigation and prosecution of all reports of police misconduct. It hasn't even been set up yet. So yes, the president had made statement, but guess what? The president has spoken to us, we the citizens. It is time for the president and the IGP to speak to the policemen and women, because they haven't heard those statements.
DIG, that's quite a lot of issues that have been rolled into one clear speech by Aisha. But just taking the issues one after the other, Nigerian citizens are calling for an end to SARS, and then the police are brutalizing protesters. Isn't that enough reason for SARS to end?
You see, I wouldn't, the protesters have not employed me as a consultant, but I think they are not even really asking for the right thing. The issue is SARS was created, I keep on saying it, a different fora, that SARS came up as a result of, was a necessity, where, to curb armed robbery and major crimes. And that need still exists. The SARS is not a constitutional body. It is not an act. SARS is not established by a statute. SARS is just a creation, a departmental creation of the Nigerian police force. Except for those who you might have found guilty now that they have done certain things wrong, you don't expect the Nigerian police force to dismiss the entire officers serving in SARS, because we have them stationed in different states and the federal capital, Lagos, and all that. You cannot, with just with a stroke of the pen, sack all of them. When you end SARS now, for example, the policemen will go back into the police force. And the law permits the Inspector General of Police to create different branches of the police force. Of course, if that need is there, the DG will come up with something else, which he has come up with, which is called SWAT. So we are even really dealing with, I mean, I don't think they are even really addressing the right issues. What we need are good policemen, so that from wherever they are drafted to serve, wherever they are drafted to serve, whether it's in the PMF, Police Mobile Force, whether it's in SWAT, they will be good police officers. So
not to interrupt your thoughts. Not to interrupt your thoughts. Is there a realization by the Nigerian police force that there are bad policemen?
Of course.
So why are they not part of this protest?
Why? Who is not the police?
Why are the policemen themselves who realize that we have a problem not part of this protest? Except if there's another country for Nigerians and the police? Just ask.
You could have not allow a policeman to join the demonstration.
Yeah, you can't.
We have different ways of addressing issues. Now, if a policeman has been found, if a policeman has committed an infringement, what you do is to get him tried in what we call an ordinary room. And there are various punishments stipulated. Such a policeman could be dismissed, he could be reduced in rank. And for sometimes, even when it involves crime, they have to be tried, dismissed, and they will still face criminal charges. I want to go back to what I was saying earlier. Yes. Let us have good policemen. It is not SARS that turns people bad policemen. Those people who are not performing well in SARS are not performing in SARS because they are not good policemen. If they were to be in the mobile, they will also not be performing well in the mobile. If you put them in the investigation, they will also be bad. So let us have good policemen. Let us have potential policemen that will live up to expectation, policemen that will measure up as police officers in good crimes anywhere in the world. That is what we need to do. And that is why I talked about the issue that we should look at it. Let us look at it from the foundation. You have to recruit good people. You have to recruit people that are trainable. You have to train them well. You have to remunerate them well. You have to also place them under discipline. Look, if I might tell you stories. When I joined the Nigerian Police Force, for example, we had what we call pay table. Policemen used to queue up to take their salary. Yes, somebody will tell me now that it will no longer be fashionable, and security-wise, it is no longer okay now But you know that that introduced some discipline. When they queue up to take their salary, it's called a parade. And those people that have absented themselves from duty for 1, 2, 3 days, their salaries, there is a deduction of those days, and it goes to police reward fund. If you have absented yourself. Now, for you to be promoted, when I joined the police force, every end of year, a police officer, the other ranks. By the way, police work is done basically by inspectors and other ranks, and officers supervise. Though the inspectors also have a measure of supervision. But at the end of the year, if every police officer, every rank and file inspector, go on what we call interview, the end of the year interview, where you will be assessed. You will be asked questions. Questions about your neighborhood, who is your DPO, what is his name, what is your area commander's name, what is that, what we call local knowledge, where is the post office situated, this, that, and they ask you this question based on the way you answer and the way you have performed your duties at the beginning, from the beginning of the year. You either graded a B, you are graded A, B, or C, or E, or F.
Okay.
Or I mean E rather, and that will go on for 3 years. When you now get B, 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 or A, B, B, and depending on the points you get after 3 years, you will now be recommended for promotion course. Today, promotion is not done that way. They just look into the list. How many from all those recruited in 1990, let's say 2000 or thereabout, you say, okay, all of them should go on promotion course. That is to say there is no consequence for what people do. Those who fail to master the environment, those who have no local knowledge, those who have misbehaved, those who are indisciplined, you just say 2000, if you are recruited from 2000, go on course for promotion. That's not what I meant. What I meant is what I just described to you. And like even the salary that I mentioned, you could invest. I mean, the corporations like Shell, Chevron, and a lot of corporate bodies, they still pay their salary, pay their worker salaries. We could invent ways so that somebody who has absented himself from duty does not earn salary for absenting himself from duty. Those who have not worked well in a particular year do not earn promotion the following year.
All right, we'll get back to those points. But looking at the protests still, Aisha, is there a clear articulation of the demands of Nigerians? Does it seem that although this protest began with End Sars, that there is a mutation as to what Nigerians really want in terms of accountability?
Well, we are at a tipping point, and I think it's very important for Nigeria to manage this very well. This is something new that we've never encountered before. The youth used to be called lazy. We make fun of them all the time. They are focused on inanities and all of that. Right now, they are focused on the nation, and we're finding it very difficult. Before I go on to that question, one of the things that I think we need to understand that we need to listen to them. It's as if we are not listening to them. We just think that they are just making noise on the streets. They don't know what they're doing. They're not asking for the right thing and all of that. They know what they're asking for. When they say End Sars, it's just like when we used to do Bring Back Our Girls movement, people will say, oh, it's not only Chibok girls that were abducted. And we say, look, it's all for those that were abducted before and after them. End Sars is that phrase, that hashtag that you have as a unifying factor, but it involves a lot of things in like the police brutality itself. So they know that the SARS itself, they're part of the police, and it's not just it's not a separate security agency. They're quite aware of that, and that was why in their fourth demand they said, in line with the new Police Act, a psychological evaluation and a training to be confirmed by an independent body of all disbanded SARS officers before they can be redeployed. Say they know all of this. And they've also asked that there should be a police reform. The police as a whole needs to be reformed. One of the things that I think, like earlier, the DIG was talking about, where came out, in terms of the fact that the special anti-robbery squad are supposed to be there to fight armed robbery. But guess what? They became the armed robbers. They became the armed robbers who stole brazenly. They were armed by the state. They harassed young people. They forced them to transfer money from their accounts into their own account. These young people come out with the receipt and say to the police, this is where we transfer this money to. See so and so of your men, see where they stopped us. Sometimes 300,000, 500,000, sometimes millions. People are forced to transfer. They actually come with a POS to collect money. How more brazen can you be? And when they put it out there, and the police, the Nigerian police has never done anything about it. They kept quiet. So people, these SARS that were supposed to be there to go after armed robbers became the armed robbers, be armed by the state, paid by the state, and they're robbing the citizens that they're supposed to protect. And then, of course, we had the SWAT, the tactical team. SWAT has been there forever. It's been there before now. First of all, they said they started a new unit, SWAT. Now they're calling it tactical team. But you know something that I think we need to understand is the fact that this is 2020. It is not 1820, neither is it 1920. It is not during the colonial where they felt that, oh, the people have to be treated with hardship before they can learn discipline. For example, oh, standing in the sun to collect your salary. That's hardship that it's not needed. But and like you see earlier on when I talked about the training that they receive, the inhumane kind of training that they receive, guess what happens? All of this hardship, they come out and they do transfer aggression. They don't transfer it to their superiors who put them through so much hardship. They transfer it to citizens who are on the streets, who aren't the ones that are the cause of their problem. And it becomes a whole major issue. So the SARS themselves, they are also asking for a whole of the police reform. But the thing is that, like I said earlier on, this is a protest for survival for the young people. They have lived in a country whereby they have been failed repeatedly. We, as the older generation, we failed them. We didn't give them a country where they can thrive. Amidst all of that, they found their niches and they've been working for themselves, and yet we have not allowed them be. We have continuously gone after them and just waste them and just kill them. And right now they are fighting back and say that, look, enough is enough. They are Nigerians. They have a right to live, and they can no longer be treated as animals in their own country.
DIG, is it possible that we can have a situation where the police itself will lead to accountability, will lead a program of accountability of its men, those policemen who have brutalized Nigerians, who have taken the law into their own hands?
Well, the police have not been wanting, I must say. I'm sure if you go through our courts, you see policemen standing trial, ex-police officers standing trial. And also, if you also check, you will discover that so many officers have been either reduced in rank, dismissed, and all that. So, as a matter of fact, police is one of the organizations that do self-censorship in this country. You see, it's unfortunate that we have come to this stage. Every year, police reports. If you take a look at the police reports, part of what you will see is how many policemen were arrested, how many were tried, how many were sent to, how many were dismissed, and all that is contained in our yearly report. How many organizations do that? Yes, some of the people that are supposed to be SARS officers may have become robbers in themselves. But I'm saying, how did they get to that point? How? What will make somebody recruited by the state, paid salary by the state, armed by the state? What will make him turn his gun or turn himself against those that he's supposed to protect? I think our sociologists, psychologists, and all of our social scientists will need to come together and brainstorm and do a research and and say, how did we get to that stage? Why did we get to that stage of impunity? Impunity breeds impunity. When, for example, people are not, people don't get, like Aisha said earlier on, people don't get what they deserve. sometimes. It's a large organization, quite all right, but I think the police is already doing a lot of self-censorship and accountability, but we could do more. We could do more. I believe police could do more. And that's how I want to leave it.
Yeah, just one more question before we let you drop on that thought. All the efforts that the police are injecting into self-censorship, what does it translate to when you compare it to where the country is now, young people out on the streets protesting the police that should protect them?
Well, we have seen that the actions of individuals back inside the forum is what has led to this. Perhaps also the police was slow. I think we should be honest enough sometimes to also accept when there is a lacuna on our side. I guess because, at some point in time, sometimes you are not even able to distinguish between Sars men and, people wear all sorts of things. And it boils down to supervision. Those who were supposed to supervise these men, what were they doing? Of course, nobody would expect the Inspector General of Police to join such men in patrol, neither the Commissioner of Police or the states. But people are placed to be responsible for these men. And this thing takes us back to the reward system that I mentioned earlier on. If you actually look at it, I've encapsulated what we need to do. I'm not saying 100%, but at least if we say, let us start from today to do what is right, let's begin from recruitment and selection, training, discipline, reward system. Why is it that, people don't supervise their men anymore? Because at some stage, promotion became where you come from, where you came from. Promotion became quota system, all these things, and then we put round pegs in square holes, and things didn't just work. People that who have not been well trained, who have not developed themselves in their career, properly mentored, ended up being commanders, supervisors, and whatever, based on where they came from and all that. And that's set us back for so many years. Because like I said, I certainly met a better police force than the one I have. I did. Some of the clues of how the nitty-gritty, the in-between the line type of things you do as a police officer, some of the rank and file, other ranks I worked with, called my attention to them. They were smart. They were professional. Then all of a sudden, everything went haywire. At what point did everything, because we introduced quota system, we introduced all sorts of things. Now, even, I don't want to get too political, because states now, in Nigeria, states get what they deserve on an equality of state basis. These days, even recruitment is now being tilted to local government. So if my own state has only 13 local governments or 10 local governments, the number of policemen that will be recruited from my place will be less. And then, of course, it progresses that way up until a situation where you have a preponderance or a dominance of certain individuals in the system. So we need to ask people, if you have a heart problem and you need a surgery, will you be asking for a surgeon from your place or the best surgeon? Will you be asking for a surgeon that knows the intricacies of heart surgery, or you'll be asking for a doctor from your local government? So
All right.
there is a whole lot of things that we need to do. So this SARS perhaps is only a symptom, and the people have catched on it to draw attention to the major issues. But the fact still remains that we are not doing the right thing, and we should need to do the right thing. In terms of recruitment, selection, training, discipline, remuneration, and or the general reward system in terms of promotion, who gets posted to where, and all those things. We should de-emphasize.
Okay.
We should have exceptional interest.
All right. We should have square pegs in square holes. I'm here joined in the studio by Muhammad Bello Buhari, a youth activist. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
MB. So this is really a movement by young people like you. Uh, what exactly are the agitations from your own lens as a young person?
Actually, as a young person, I think the agitations is just like the person that just finished speaking said. This is just a symptom of other agitations that are coming. Actually, the youths today, they have been killed. Like bandits are killing people, kidnappers are kidnapping people at their homes. And then the security outfit, that is the police, the ones that are supposed to be protecting their lives are now killing them just for some reasons that goes along with dressings or the way you drive cars and some other things that they feel like they can just kill someone extrajudicially. So I think youths are saying that they are tired of this, that they are tired, and the federal government need to listen to them, need to listen to them to what they are saying. And if you look at this now, the federal government have already said that the SARS has been dissolved, and just some few days after that, they are saying that there is a new outfit coming out in the name of SWAT. Now, what about the training of those SWAT? Now, youths are now saying that we continue protesting until these people listen to us. It's just like what is happening today is just like, let me say, it's a general rule that when you care for someone, it is not enough to just care for someone. You have to make that person to see that he is being taken care of. So by the actions of the federal government, for them to come out and say that they have dissolved SARS, and just some few days after that to come out and say that we are creating another outfit in the name of SWAT, and that those officers from SARS are not going to join the new outfit. So there are questions along with that. Have they trained them for that purpose? Have they screened them? Like that is along with the new police act that requires that they need to be a medical checkup, like psychological checkup. Now, have they done all that? Are they just trying to just deceive the youth, the Nigerians, to just dissolve SARS and bring another one? So I think this is a new beginning in the Nigerian political era for the youth.
Well, one more question before I get back to Aisha, who is right there with me.
Okay.
Now, there are Arewa youths who are protesting for SARS. Is there a region in Nigeria that agrees that SARS should continue to work in the manner in which they're working?
Actually, I don't think the AYCC, like the Arewa group, Arewa Youth Consultative Forum, I don't think they represent the Nigerian youth. I don't even think they represent 1% of the northern youths, because the AYCC was just established recently. It's not even registered under the Corporate Affairs Commission as an organization. So I don't think it's representing that. And it is trying to tell the northern youth that SARS is not our problem. Bandit is our problem. What they are missing is that SARS is a problem in every part of Nigeria. The only difference is that in northern Nigeria, our youth do not come out and speak their minds. They do not come out and talk. Like when they kill someone in the southern part of Nigeria, you see that it is all over social media. People are talking about it, demanding justice for that person. But you don't know Nigeria, these things happen and no one cares about it. It's only bandits that we are talking about. Such is everywhere. And the LYCC does not represent the northern youth. I have proof of that because most of the youths have already, like, let me say, are already disclaiming what the LYCC is saying. Because I think the LYCC, they are being sponsored by some people, or let me say northern politicians, to come out and do process.
Aisha, I'm sure you followed the news from the Northern Governors Forum, who have stipulated their own support for SARS. And here in the studio, MB Buhari has spoken about how this protest is just, to quote him, a symptom of other agitations to come. What does that speak to?
What I would say is that the northern governors should get off their high horses and come down to the streets and sit down and listen to the youth. And I think this is a big problem that we have. We are not listening to them. We think we are telling them what to do. We talk to them. We forget to sit down and listen to what they are saying. So when you talk, and I like the way MB was talking about the fact that there's no part in Nigeria that is not feeling the effect of SARS. From where there's no, when it comes to that police brutality, they will arrest you, they will extort money from you, they will collect 10,000, 20,000, 50, 100, 200, depending on how much you want. And here we have the northern governors who have failed their people. The people are facing so much crisis in terms of poverty, in terms of lack of education, in terms of insecurity, and yet, instead of them to focus on those issues, they're talking about the fact that they want, they're supporting SARS. Is that what they're supposed to be doing right now, or ensuring that their people are being secured and their people are getting the education that they're supposed to get, or that they have the economy, they have economic empowerment? And I think for me, there's a whole lot of, if they do not understand, I've said this before, and I'm going to repeat this again. Revolution is imminent in Nigeria. It is either we have a bloody revolution or a bloodless revolution. Who will be the ones to choose? The bloodless revolution of changing system, or we get to a place where we have chaos. And the North, it's brooding. It's brooding. You see what is happening. The insecurity that is so rife in the North right now, nobody ever thought that would happen. That in itself, it's a revolution going on, where a lot of people who aren't educated, who are tired of the system, who have been denied so much, are hitting back at the state and hitting back at the people. And I think the northern governors should just go focus on the business of governance, on increasing their internally generated revenue, and thinking about the fact that what if tomorrow there's no money that will be shared from Abuja, that will be shared around? How would they survive? That's the main thing that they should be focusing on right now, rather than doing any process thing.
All right, we have Senator Ben Murray Bruce calling to join in this conversation. I think we lost him. Senator Bruce, if you can hear me, I hope that you can call back again to join in this conversation. And we will be throwing the lines open also for Nigerians everywhere to join this conversation, because we must move from the problems to the solutions. And as Aisha said, a revolution is imminent and there needs to be a choice. But because we need to preserve every single life, it is our collective duty to see how we can ensure that we get the change that we want to see with no casualty at all. Is that possible, Aisha? Aisha, do you hear me?
Hello, can you take that again? No, can you take that again?
Yes, I was saying that you spoke about a revolution being imminent. Whether it's going to be bloody or without blood is a choice that needs to be made. And I was saying that it is our collective duty to ensure the preservation of every single Nigerian life. Is it possible that we can have a change that is bloodless?
Absolutely, it's very possible. And it would be all of us coming together and working together, and not looking at, for example, oh, there's a protest here, you're thinking, oh, the youth are doing this protest. No, it is every one of us coming out and fight for Nigeria and know that this protests that are going on, any agitation that is going on, is not a direct attack at the state or the government. It's just saying that, oh, there's a problem that we have, and all of us need to work together and ensure that that problem is solved. That's the way it is. We must believe in Nigeria. I love Nigeria. Nigeria is an amazing country. We're a great nation, great people. Even though our leaders have tried to put us down, they have tried to separate us, they have brought in division, they have weaponized poverty, they have weaponized illiteracy, they have ensured that people don't go to school or they don't know their rights and all of that. We have so much potential and we have the beauty. Looking at this protest right now, see the way young people have come together, see the way young people are working together. And I say to them, please, don't make the mistake that we made. Don't allow them to divide you the way they divided us. You see, the division didn't pay us. If it had paid us, we would have had a good nation. Work together, come together, whether it is Arewa, North, South, East, West, come and work together and get a good Nigeria. Leave the generational hatred. Let it die with us. Let it die with your parents' generation. They gave it to us and we try to hand it to you. Refuse it, reject it, and throw it back at us. Let us keep it as you guys should work together and have an amazing and great Nigeria. And I must tell you, I'm so inspired by the youth. I'm so in awe of them, the way they are coming together, the way they are working. And they are the ones that will carry Nigeria to that place that is supposed to be. When they tell you that you are leaders of tomorrow, tell them, Mba, you are not leaders of tomorrow. You are leaders of today.
Okay, a few comments from Facebook. From Sarah Malgui-Jato, she says, so what is the solution? And I'm sure that this question is to the DIG. She's asking what is the solution, and the issue about post-traumatic stress disorder for the police, how is it being handled? Emmanuel Gotep says, policemen are still standing on highway collecting 20 naira. Visit Nnamdi Azikiwe Express bypass after the bridge. Kwatam Mama Nakande says, the AYCC speak for themselves and their stomach not for us. We'll just hold on the comments for now and, try to get back to Buhari. You have listened to the commendation by Aisha. She is impressed that there is so much organizing by the youths. Are we likely to see a situation where all the youths in Nigeria from the north, south, east, and west will agree on an ideology for moving the country forward?
Yeah, actually, it is in order. Because looking at the protests now, you can see that everywhere. Just recently, if you go to Twitter, you see what the things that are trending on Twitter are not mostly things that are supposed to be moving this country forward. But in the past couple of days, see that all the youths in Nigeria are coming together to say that we are tired of these particular actions of government. We want this, we are demanding this. And if these things are not solved, we are not going to stop protesting. And so I think youths today have already woke up from the sleep. They are really, really aware of what they need to do for us to have a solution to all these problems. Because though there are some meandering points, like the OYCC and some youths that some of our politicians might try to use to influence their decisions. But by us coming together, I think this is really a good fit for all of us as youths.
All right, more comments from Pauline Obakpororo Esievo. She says, leaders of today indeed, because tomorrow does not seem to come. Emmanuel Akut says, to the extent that every problem has a solution, it's absolutely possible to choose to have a bloodless revolution just as they choose to have coup. It's a good time to throw the lines open so you can join this conversation. The number to call is 070-4623-1510. The number again, 070-4623-1510. This is our country and we've got to make it work. So you need to join this conversation on Sars and accountability in Nigeria. Is this a turning point or as Aisha Yusufu said, is this the tipping point for accountability in governance? What does this really mean? So you can dial in 070-4623-1510. And you can send your comments to any of our social media handles at HOJ Radio TV, Twitter, and then you can send your emails to hojradiotv at houseofjusticeng.com. One word, hojradiotv at houseofjusticeng.com. The number again, 070-4623-1510. Hello? Hello?
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good
Sorry,
afternoon. Good evening.
My name is Abubakar. I'm calling from Abuja.
Thank you, Abubakar, for calling.
Now, following the conversation and the protests in the past weeks,
Yes.
I will say it's not all about ending Sars
Yes.
and bringing SWAT. Yes, we're going to be seeing old wine in new bottles. The same policemen that we're going to be seeing in SWAT, not a different set of people. It's about accountability. Nobody is held accountable when these things happen. I expect that.
Hello, good evening.
Hello?
Good evening.
Yeah.
Samuel calling from Jos Plateau State.
All right, Samuel from
Abba.
Jos. I'm sorry we lost Abubakar. Let's hear you, Samuel.
Yes, ma. This has been a very torrid time for me, I have to say, and for the whole Nigerian youth I know. I can recall some days back I saw Aisha's picture and I was really bothered. I was okay. I'm pretty sure that when Aisha stood there, she had already given up. She was almost waiting. She was already anticipating a bullet hitting her or something. And that is how the Nigerian youth are right now. There's nothing you're going to do with the Nigerian youth. Like, the Nigerian youth is ready for anything. So the government needs to understand that we are tired. Presently, I'm in my parents' house. My mother has been so broke. There's no food at home. And ASU is on strike. And I was supposed to defend my project just before this ASU strike. COVID pandemic and everything has happened. This thing has been so depressing. So add salt to injury, there has been killing. You know, during this COVID-19, a youth here in Jos Region was killed for no reason. That he tried jumping, he tried escaping the hillocks and you know, and so on. It is so depressing. For how many years? It is very clear, it is very transparent and open that by 2023, trust me, the youth will take over. And it is a game of chess. I have seen this. It is a game of chess. They will not understand, but if the youth keep holding hands and working together, trust me, there is nothing they will do about it because we have the numbers. We have everything on ground. So, sir, the IGP, and the former IGP, if you're listening to me, please talk to your colleagues. There should be a total police reform.
All right,
Something
Samuel,
should
we have
happen.
more calls. I'm afraid we need to take more calls. Thank you for getting out your thoughts. Hello? 070-4623-1510 is the number to call, and we have more comments from. Hello?
Yeah, hello, Abubakar calling back.
All right, Abubakar, thank you for calling back.
Yes.
Yeah.
As I was saying, it's an issue of accountability. Nobody is held accountable when these things happen.
Yeah.
Right now, I expect that the Sars boys who killed that poor citizen in Delta State, their identity be made known to the public. Right now, I expect that the DIG in charge of Sars should be on his toes, if not in his village, and a new DIG appointed. When these things happen, it goes a long way to check these policemen. But then in Nigeria today, you hear a police saying, "I'll kill you," and nothing will happen. You get bolder because nothing happens when nobody checks them. Then there is also this issue of the policemen who are tear gassing and shooting protesters should know that the reforms the protesters are canvassing for, it's not only for the good of protesters, it's also for their own good. The government should also know that There are other agitations, it's not about SARS. What I expect the government to do is to begin to put palliative in place to cushion the effect of hardship that has been created. I just had somebody saying there is no food at home, so he's on strike, and all. It's so depressing. Put palliative in place, begin to cushion the effects of the hardship that is created, and then work on other things to better the economy of the country. That's my contribution.
Thank you very much, Abubakar from Abuja, for calling. More comments from Avon Marcus Sunday. He says, day by day, we are getting there. Nigeria must change. Aisha, I am proud of you. Please adopt me. So Aisha, I think you just have a new son who wants you to
Yay! So now I have 3 children, 2 sons.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
07046231510 as we try to round up and speak to solutions, because this is our country. It's the country for the Nigerian police, it's the country for the citizens, it's the country for all of us. We see if we can take one more comment. But back to you, Buhari. What will be your clear thoughts around solution for this protest and for the kind of country that you want to see?
Accountability. I think accountability is key to all these issues, because that is why the Nigerian youth are protesting. They are continuously protesting, because just recently from Amnesty's International report, there's this report that a youth in Obomosho, Jimo Ishak, was killed and nothing happened. Another footballer from Sangamu was killed and nothing happened. So you see, without this accountability, there will never be a solution. All these reforms without accountability, there will never be a solution. Just recently, someone just called here and said that these policemen are saying that they will kill you and nothing will happen. I remember the issue of James Nwafo. James Nwafo, a police officer who killed people. Allegedly, they even call him the butcher. They call him the butcher in Anambra State. He killed people and he's the chief security advisor to a governor.
So let me ask the DIG. DIG, sir, are you aware of a James Nwafo who is called the butcher?
Well, I will tell you that I retired about more than 1 year ago, so I probably not followed up the rest.
Okay. All right. Buhari.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this person, this officer, let me say this officer, he comes out and tell people that I kill you and nothing will happen. So without any accountability, I don't think there will be a solution. Like in the military service now, you see that there's court-martial, where they court-martial soldiers. That's why all these kind of reckless activities don't happen in the military service. But as in the police, even the non-officers, they will come out and do anything with their weapons and feel like they will go just scot-free without any punishment, any penalty or anything. So I think there needs to be an accountability scheme in the police.
Accountability is the key word. DIG, your thoughts around solutions as we try to round up.
Well, you have rightly mentioned court-martial in the military. In the police too, we have on the room proceedings. And I think generally in Nigeria, you also saw policemen themselves you've seen policemen themselves falling victims of, being killed even in the line of duty, sometimes even by people in uniform as well. Let me not say more than that. But the issue remains that police has a system of self-censorship. Again, I will tell you, when I joined the police force, I was taught how to try out the room right from the training school. And as an assistant superintendent of police, we were only 2 stars.
Yeah, I'm afraid we need to round up. So to solutions, please.
And they were upheld by my superiors.
Yeah.
Okay. Are people being trained like that? Are people able to do that even in their divisions? Everything is now shifted to the provost marshal at the other force headquarter level or what?
All right. Thank you very much. Aisha Yusufu, your passing thoughts.
Well, my passing thought is to say, I'm going to take it off from where the DIG was talking about the fact that policemen are being killed. And it's really sad that in Nigeria, we have a situation whereby security agents, especially policemen, are killed anyhow. and the Nigeria police force doesn't act. And it says a whole lot. It means that our lives don't matter. What we need to do is to understand that this fight for Nigeria is for all of us. We all need to come together and take on this fight. And that Nigeria is a great nation. It is waiting to happen. Most importantly, we should stop abdicating our responsibilities to God. God will not do for us what he has given us capacity to do for ourselves. So we have to put in the hard work so that our children will be able to have fun instead of fight for their life. Thank you.
And on that note, I'd like to thank you, Aisha Yusufu, socio-political activist and co-convener, Bring Back Our Girls, for joining us on the program House of Justice. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you also, DIG Godwin Chijioke Nwobodo, retired, for articulating the issues succinctly and for being as honest as you could be. Thank you for joining us, sir. And I am grateful to Muhammad Bello Buhari, the youth activist who is here with me in the studio, who has come to speak on behalf of the Nigerian youth who are out there on the streets canvassing for an end to SARS. Thank you, Buhari, for joining me.
Thank you.
And on this note, we call it a day for the program House of Justice. God willing, I'll be back with you next week, Thursday, same time, as we take on the issues around our country. Until then, my name is Gloria Ballason, urging you to insist on the force of law and not the law of force. Bye for now.
It's the House of Justice.
Hear the shout of liberty, equal rights and